Hello everyone, we are coming up to a very special Shabbat this week, and besides that, this is the Parsha of the week, Parshat Ki Tavo, as we know in the Hasidic calendar, and I would say in the Jewish calendar. It's a very special day. This coming Shabbat is the 18th of Elul, and as we know, the 18th of Elul is a birthday of the two great luminaries. And the first is the Baal Shem Tov, that he was born at the 18th of Elul. And many years later, 47 years later, was the birthday of the Baal Tanya, the Alter Rebbe, the first Rebbe of Chabad, all at the same day, the 18th day of Elul. And this is what makes the day so special. The 18th day of Elul, Chai Elul, the day that the two great luminaries, the Baal Shem Tov and the Baal Tanya, came down to this world to spread the wellsprings of Chassidus, the wellsprings of the Torah, to the world, and to get Mashiach so much closer, hopefully in these days very soon. So it would make sense when we're talking something regarding this coming week, this coming Shabbat, we should mention something that's relating to these birthdays of these two great people. At short of time, we'll just speak about one short point, one short idea. And this is, as we know, the previous Rebbe said once that his father, the Rebbe Rashab, in the year Tafresh Nun Beis, this is 1892, he had a revelation in the Garden of Eden, and he listened to 7 different teachings of the Baal Shem Tov. Self-understood many years after the Baal Shem Tov's passing, and he was alive in this world, the Rebbe Rashab, and listened to 7 teachings of the Baal Shem Tov. And each one of them is an amazing lesson. But from the other side, very short. Baal Shem Tov will speak a point. And one of the 7 lessons we will mention today, that it's relevant to this week's Parsha, even though there's a few more relevant to this week's Parsha. And the lesson goes as follows, and maybe we can elaborate a few minutes on that, because it's a great lesson. And the Baal Shem Tov says as follows. He speaks to the great leaders, to himself and to the others. And he says, great leaders, when you are there to be with the people and to give people, you may lose your own light, your own great mitzvot. And he says, no, you will not lose it. When he brings in quotes the beginning of the Haftarah of this week, when his Haftarah begins, Kumi Ori Kiva Orech. And he explains like this: go shine, go bring your shine out there. Kiva Orech, because your light will shine too. This is the words, one of the 7 teachings that Baal Shem Tov said, that the Rebbe Rashab repeated, that he heard it from him. Simply, it's hard to understand what he's saying, but just go a little bit deeper, as the Rebbe once gave us a long, beautiful explanation. We don't have the time for it, but just, as we said before, just the point. And the idea what Baal Shem Tov was saying, great leaders, when you do mitzvot, when you learn Torah, you create and you bring such a great light to Hashem, from Hashem to you. You will create and bring such a great light from Hashem to the world. But instead of doing what you got to do for yourself, you are spending time with a simpleton. You're spending time with the people on the street. And you're doing mitzvot with them, or you're trying to affect them. By doing with them, by working with them, you lose your own great light of Hashem. Because if you would be with yourself and do on your own, you can accomplish and bring so much more light. So it looks like when all these great rabbis are being involved with people, they lose their own great light from Hashem to them. They'll lose their great accomplishment that they can do. because they're too occupied with the little people. And says the Baal Shem Tov, don't worry, this is what the Torah district says. You go and bring your light to the people, and this will bring a light to you. Don't think by being involved with a simpleton you will lose. On the contrary, your light will grow even stronger. And this was the great message of the Baal Shem Tov to the world, and the great message that keeps on going until today, that it's to everyone to say, don't think that by you not spending time on your own growth in the spiritual level, you spending time with others, you may lose. On the contrary, more you spend with others, more you're going to grow. And this message became the basics of Chassidus, the basis of the Baal Shem Tov, and down explained through the Alter Rebbe, and down all the way until our generation to the Rebbe explaining that. Just to understand that point is one of the famous stories of the third Lubavitcher Rebbe, at Tzemach Tzedek, that he was talking to one of his sons, the next Rebbe, his successor, the Maharash, Reb Shmuel. And he was once talking to him and sighing and says, I'm so involved with everyone else. Everybody wants me to say and to speak and to teach. And as we know, that Tzemach Tzedek are lots of Chassidim that say about him. He had 600,000 Chassidim. He was very occupied with the Chassidim. They want Yechidus, he says, they want Torah, they want teachings. He says, I have no time for myself to grow. And he looks at his son without question. And his son looks at him back, and he walks over to the bookshelves. And he looks at the bookshelf of his son and he says, what is all these books of your writings? And this was books of the writing of the Tzemach Tzedek, his own Chidushim, what he accomplished, what he learned. And he tells him, you know why you're able to accomplish all that? Because you occupy yourself to teach and to give to all the Chassidim. And the Tzemach Tzedek listened and he smiled. And he said, you're right. And this is the statement of Baal Shem Tov. More you do with others, don't think you will lose. On the contrary, you will gain even more. And this is how we see in our generation the beautiful idea of the shluchim that the Rebbe sent out all over the world. And they're occupied with people, everyone in a different field. And the outcome we see, not only to accomplish with them, those families that go out there, they themselves grow. They themselves become more spiritual. And they grow in themselves a beautiful edifice, a beautiful home. Let's take that lesson. Let's take the lesson of the 18th of Elul, the birthday of the Baal Shem Tov, the birthday of the Alter Rebbe. And this should be the teaching, the basis of Hasidus teaching to us. And let's bring the Shabbos on this point. More you will teach someone else, more you are going to gain. Good Shabbos, l'chaim, l'chaim.